right, to a qualified lead, to schedule a tour, to move in, right? So most organizations from a sales side is looking at that, but, not necessarily from a marketing side, dialing it back to here's the ROI of the marketing spend. It's very general. It's very knee-jerk reaction. It's very just, well, move-ins are going up or tours are going up by and large quarter to quarter. So this must be she must be qualified leads and this must be a good marketing partner. I mean, it's very general like that, believe it or not. It's not very data rich or data driven. A lot of these relationships in terms of looking at ROI and spend and value to the owner operators.
But even something that would seemingly be somewhat more simple, like of the qualified leads that Glenn Devins provided to you over, the next, call it 18-month period, how many actually converted into move-ins? I'm assuming that's tracked. What you're saying is it's not necessarily that reliable because sometimes they might, move in outside of that window, or that lead might be over that time period funneled in from another source. Is that more of the issue?
No, I would say, that's definitely an issue, right? It's very tough to track pure metrics, right, in terms of ROI, right, by channel, especially when you're talking about, integrated marketing campaigns, right? So, a billboard in a newspaper ad that's, driving traffic to, your digital property. Sure, you can track some of that, but you can't track all of that, right? And so, it could be a little challenging there. But I think, that's one challenge that every industry and every company has, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to just literally saying, okay, this is how many move-ins we generated this quarter, through our marketing efforts, sure, that's being done. But honestly, a lot of the times, I would say 8 out of 10 times, it's not, they leave it up to the owner provider to say, okay, you generated, 5 more move-ins that we can track, quarter over quarter. This is what we actually paid for those move-ins, right? And then versus what we're paying for those move-ins through our own marketing efforts, whether that's our digital and or traditional marketing, right? That analysis is not being done, really, if ever. I mean, some of the larger ones, obviously the Brookdales, the Sunrise, I mean, they have their own departments that are just, analytics and, reporting and so on and so forth. So, that's a whole different animal, but you're only talking about like the top 10, top 12 providers out there.
Yeah. Generally, were you satisfied with kind of just qualitatively the value that you were getting from Blue Spire and Glenn Devins?
Yeah, I would say no, just because my expertise doing digital over the course of 12 years, as well as traditional marketing, integrated marketing campaigns, working on, the lead gen referral side, Carrying.com, where they're very sophisticated with generating leads, not just digitally, but traditionally as well, much like a First for Mom and the others. So, no, I don't think they provide great value, but I do see where their value is in the industry, right? From a business model standpoint, not saying they haven't made. I mean, they're they have to get out there and, they do a lot of work, a lot of good sales and business development work to, generate new clients and continue, making their current clients happy. So there's a lot of efforts there, but at the same time, they have a pretty rich pool to pull from in terms of client base, because again, the client base is so reliant upon those folks in the industry, right? Especially from, like I said, a digital side, but also integrated marketing side to help lead them in their marketing efforts. So, and that's another thing, I've gotten questions before in the past of, well, why don't you think like, a larger agency, right, that's non-senior living specific to like a Digitas or something that's huge, like Brookdale work with Digitas, or some of the large ones working with Sunrise. Why don't they come in and just, eat up the industry-specific smaller guys, if you will, even though they're not that small. They're small compared to those large ones that work for Fortune 500 companies, right? And I really just believe that majority of the owner-operators are really iffy of anybody that hasn't worked in the senior care space. I honestly believe that's one of their that's more of a con than a pro. On the provider side is that, they seldomly want to look at other industries or agencies that work in other industries. They feel like, well, they don't know the senior care industry, so, we don't know if we want to work with them. So again, that gives more leverage to the industry specific agencies like a Glenn Devins, Blue Spire, right?